Hi everyone, this is Dov Hashkovitz from the APM team, and this is the kickoff video for version 13. As you can see, we do have a planning issue, as always, and in a high level, the goal of this milestone to start with, since it's a major version, we have a bunch of deprecations and that we will do. And in addition to that, in this iteration, we will continue the work on the metric dashboard. As you know, we embark on a project to ensure our SRE team will be able to use our metric chart instead of Grafana dashboard, and that they will be able to start phasing out Grafana dashboard. So the highlights of this feature in order to enable those goals is, first of all, we do have I want to call out that we do have a UX research issue to understand how our user use Grafana, and we're going to interview several members of the SRE team along with external participants to better understand how our users use Grafana and what are the common features that they're using. And the other big feature that we would like to deliver is the variable in dashboard, and we've broken down into MVC1 and MVC2. And let's dive into that. First, what are the dashboard variables? It is very common that instead of creating multiple dashboards that contain the same visualization, it is common to create a single dashboard and have variables in place of to be replaced the PromQL query. In that way, a user can create a single dashboard and just replace queries or replace variables, and the query will change, and user will see the same charts but different data. So it's very helpful, instead of moving from creating and moving from a dashboard to simply change the variables. And we've broken it down into two MVC, MVC1 and MVC2. And in MVC1, we have several issues. To start with, the smallest thing that we can ship is to make sure that we can pass the variable through the dashboard URL, so we don't even need to create drop-downs for the dashboard. So this is one. The second one is to start creating the drop-down, or actually a text value. So instead of a variable, the user will actually type the variable that they would like to see. And this is the second issue. The third one is to ensure that the charts are rendered correctly when we are adding this variable. And the outcome of this iteration, for this MVC, is to clone the marquee customer dashboard that we have in Grafana today. Basically, we want to replace this one. As you can see, the variable here actually is passed through the URL. So by a customer ID, the dashboard is changing here. And this is the MVC1. And MVC2, the MVC2 is in the MVC2, we'll start working on the dropdown, and we'll support different types of variables. So we talked about the text. There are other variables that we should support. For instance, there are custom variables that the user defined at the beginning, and there are also dynamic variables. So the user, instead of variable, define a PromQL query, and that PromQL query pulls a range of variables, and this range of variables will appear on the dropdown. So it will be a dynamic list based on the queries, query from Prometheus. And this MVC come to fulfill those requirements. Okay, let's go over some of the other deliverable issues that we have here. So we discussed the deprecations. We want to support the auth token authentication for Prometheus from the manual or external Prometheus, and this will help us to connect the Prometheus that the info team is using to gitlab.com. Those issues, issue 5 to 9, represent the MVC1 that we discussed. And at the end of this MVC1, we'll be able to replace, as I mentioned, the market customer dashboard in Grafana. Next is to change the chart legend format to a tabular format. Right now, this is how our legend looks like, and it's not so useful when you have large amount of metrics, and we like to have some sort of a tabular format with the ability to scroll. So you'll see at each moment of time, you'll see something like 3 or 4 lines, and you'll be able to scroll through those lines. Ability to star a specific dashboard. This is actually favorite filter. So the user will be able, let's look at Epic. So we will have this star icon, and the user will be able to click on it. And once you click on it, on the drop down, there's the drop down. Yeah. So on the drop down, the user will be able to see the star dashboard at the top. This is very useful when you have large amount of dashboard and you have your favorite one. Yeah. So those two issues are broken down into to start the dashboard and then to show those dashboard in the dropdown. The next one is the security related. I will click on it. Spike issue about annotation range. On annotation range, at 12.10, we are going to support the annotation, but in a single point in time, so just like a single line. But we do want to support a range of annotation. Let's say you're starting something, you want to have some sort of a markdown, and then after a period of time, you're stopping it, and you want to mark this time. So this is normally done through a range, an annotation range, and this is what we want to support. This is a spike issue, because from what I understood, each ad had some limitation, and we want to understand what's our limitation and what we can support and how. The next one is the view action, and this view action, let's open the design issue. So the view action will allow the user to see the, scroll down, picture worth 1,000 words. So yeah, when the user will click on a chart, you will see the view full screen, and basically will allow the user to see a full screen of a single chart. The next one is a simple one. We want to ensure that the custom metric dashboard name will be in the browser title or will reflect in the browser title. Right now it's not, and it's very helpful. You just look at the title and you see what dashboard you are looking at. Issues 17 to 20 are the issues for the MVC2 for variables. So the dropdown with the dynamic value for the query, the custom values, and so those are within those issues here, both front end and back end. And the last one is for logging. And in logging, we would like to ensure that we present the logs in the log explorer and the time picker in the user locale. Right now, the time picker is in the user locale, and the logs presented in UTC, and it's very confusing for users. You're picking one time range, and you see a totally different one, and you need to do the conversion from UTC to local. So you want to make sure it's unified. And for now, we've decided that it will be based on the user interview that we did, that would like to make sure it's consistent and it's presented in the user locale. That's it. I hope you found it useful. And of course, if you have any comments, make sure to add those to the thread here in the issue. Thanks and bye.